Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Dark Souls 2. We're basically picking up where we left off, only now I'm actually dressed and not inside the Dragon Shrine anymore. Instead, we're back in Majula, and now I want to first of all kick things off by leveling up our dude a little bit using the souls that we got by killing the Ancient Dragon. So that is totally what we did last time. Killed that thing. Also killed Lycia in that whole invasion that we triggered using the Crushed Eye Orb. And now kind of what I want to do is try to see what we can upgrade. The only problem is that most of the stuff that we're actually wearing requires Twinkling Titanite, and we don't have too much of that, so as a matter of fact I might not even be able to upgrade anything. It doesn't look like it, unfortunately. No. Nothing? I guess I could maybe upgrade the Hunter's Black Bow, and that would probably be a good decision. So let's maybe go ahead and do that. But then focus on all the things that I want to achieve today in this episode. So, 2 more optional bosses is what we have to do before we then kind of are allowed to take on the final boss. At least, I mean, that's kind of the requirement that I set up for myself. You can, of course, very soon, like soon after the, what is it even? The one that you need to do? God damn it. The Giant Lord, that's exactly the one that you then need to do. And after that, you can already go to the final boss. But I, of course, kind of said to myself, no, we're not making it that easy. First of all, we are going to go ahead and do some of the optional content. And that is now, namely, the Undead Purgatory and the boss that it contains. That is the first stop for this episode today. Of course, after that, we are going to focus very much on Vendrick, who we have run into before. He's at the very end of the Undead Crypt, and we of course wanted to get all the giant souls off of the memories and also the Ancient Dragon before we then go ahead and attack him and aggro him and make him a boss fight. Because of course you might remember him being pretty damn, yeah, just non-aggressive, I guess. Maybe that's a way of describing it. When you first run down into his little hiding spot, he is just roaming about. He's not really doing anything fancy. And we are going to change that. But only in the later half of this whole episode. First of all, Undead Purgatory, and that is very much what you can see in the distance there across the bridge. That is where we are going to go next. First of all, we are going to have to fight quite a bunch of these secret weird hidden dudes though. They should aggro one after another and start attacking us. If he's going to just use Lightning Spear though. If he's just going to use arrows though, I'm just going to use Lightning Spear. Kind of got turned around there for a second, but no, I am the cleric. They are very much the thieves that you can dispose of so quickly with the highly leveled up character that I'm currently using. It's just so nice. When I last did this, that was probably the New Game Plus, and oh yeah, I don't know if I've mentioned this before in this playthrough. If so, it's been a while, but this whole thing that we're now doing, the next upcoming boss here, actually was one of the most difficult things for me in New Game Plus. I had such a hard time with that. It almost kind of stopped being funny after like I don't know, hours maybe, probably. Yeah, it took me a good while and was very frustrating, and I'm so happy that I then eventually beat it. But I'm just now, having experienced it like that in New Game Plus, I'm now very excited to see how this is now going to go, because it could very easily go very badly and lead to a lot of deaths, but I wouldn't necessarily think so, because in the end, I do remember the boss being relatively easy. Only in New Game Plus, he was kind of a dick and kind of a pain in the ass. I don't know if I can poison him before he gets here. I would really appreciate that. No need to poison him as well, because that just ended up killing him straight up. But yeah, there's a few guys here, and what I'm doing right now with the arrows is not necessarily a strategy that you have to apply when it comes to this whole upcoming section right here. It's just something that I very much started to appreciate in New Game Plus, because their shit's insane. It really is. There's actually also, I believe, a additional guy here, one of those bigger dudes that you also run into in the earlier parts of the Huntsman's Corps, and then very much also these jailers who we also have fought before in this very area. So it's mostly repeating enemies. It's just that it's kind of a dick move how high up they are and how they're all then just going to start dropping down and attacking you. And while it's not such a big deal in the new game that we're in right now, I always find it weird calling it new game, by the way, because this is not new. But anyway, it's much more difficult in the New Game Plus then. But alright. So yeah, I believe in New Game Plus there's additional one up there, and he just drops down and then also starts attacking you. And you also can't really run through either. They're gonna chase you across the bridge. It's all messed up, basically. So if you are currently in New Game Plus and are having issues with that, I don't even know what to say. Best of luck, I guess. Because it's freaking difficult. Anyway, there's also a phantom here. I think I'm gonna go ahead and fight him. Usually I don't really like doing that just because, I mean, I've said it before, I find these to be some of the just most devious fights in the entirety of Dark Souls 2. But hey, what can you do? In the end, we're showing off, or trying to show off a lot with this whole series, so I might as well go ahead and try to fight this old phantom motherfucker. A good strategy might be running away for a second though, just so that we can heal up a little bit, and then maybe fire some like arrows at him. I don't know. I don't think he's gonna chase me all the way, so maybe at that point I'm going to be able to fire a few arrows at him. But he is totally going to use his shield, and that is of course a little annoying. I don't think I can build up the poison meter. Oh, maybe now I can. No. I don't know how the blocking of his actually affects my poison. I'm not exactly sure, but if I keep hitting him... Oh god, how does he still block that? That is absolute madness. Yeah, we're not really getting anywhere with this whole thing that I'm doing right now. Maybe a lightning spear, how about that? I always forget that I'm actually a cleric. That happens so often. Way too often in my opinion, but alright. That should do a little bit more, and maybe we can then catch him off guard, and very much did 666 damage. That's so funny. Anyway, alright, so the boss is already right here. I do remember, that's where the item is. I don't know if I want to do this now though. It kind of sucks, but we should be able to make it. I totally did make it, but now we also have to get back, of course. A sublime bone dust is what that was. That is actually quite interesting. I'm not exactly sure if we have already used all the dust that we can use with the one character, but I wouldn't really think so. Anyway, Undead Purgatory is where we're at, so the next boss is what we're gonna do right about now. And also, what I should very much say before we, or basically as we enter this, one of my favorite bosses in the entirety of the game. I really like the Executioner's Chariot, and there's a few good reasons for that. It's not your typical boss fight. I've said this before, Dark Souls 2 likes to do the one dude with the sword, circle strafing boss fight. It does that so often, a little bit too often in my opinion. And while the cutscene, I guess, is a little low fidelity or whatever you want to call that, the actual boss design, in my opinion, is quite fantastic. So let's enjoy this and let's tackle one of the most interesting bosses in the game. So, he is on a chariot. He is riding around the entire damn place and trying to basically hit you. But he's not necessarily aggressively hunting you down, so to say. He much rather is just stuck in his whole like cycle and repeats that whole thing ad infinitum. And there will be a few like one of the like these yeah, just a few of these witches, I guess. That would probably be a good way of describing it. In these little alcoves surrounding the whole racing track. And those, of course, you want to very much focus on because those can revive the skeletons, and that is basically one of the most important things. So as you can see, that one just got revived, and what we want to do now is find the bitch and kill the bitch too. So let's see, she might be, I don't exactly remember where she is actually. Missing one would be terrible, but I couldn't quite tell you right now. I do believe she's around here. Yeah, there she is. Alright. I don't know if I missed one, but we'll just have to find out. I guess now having him run over these guys and us maybe punching the additional ones that actually managed to stay alive there should indicate whether... Yeah, it doesn't look like they're getting up, so that's actually pretty good. That one should get run over as well. And now what we want to do is stop the chariot, right? That is done by pulling this lever and lowering the gate. And that will soon enough make the whole damn thing crash. Very much like that. And then we are fighting the horse. So this is exactly what killed me so often in New Game Plus. Everything up until this point, not difficult. But this thing, shit, it killed me so much in New Game Plus, and that was now the easiest thing ever. But the problem with this whole fight for me was that the frickin' horse, it would constantly do the whole charging attack that it only did one of now, and if you get hit by that, basically dead, or at least you are gonna get thrown back to some extent, and then it will just whip out another one of those, and that ended my life so often. It was just a very tense fight, and you can basically not rely on any like expected feedback, right? Does that make sense? You can't really bait one attack, I find, with that whole horse situation then, because it's just gonna whip out whatever it feels like. But anyway, that was relatively easy now, wasn't it? I didn't expect it to go all that well, but let's maybe focus now a little bit on why I like this boss fight so much, because now maybe with how high of a level I had and how easy all of this went, it doesn't seem that fantastic. Maybe, I don't know, I couldn't tell you, but the reason why I like this boss fight so much is that it's really a refreshing idea, right? I did say that it's very different, and it's not this whole like circle strafing match that you have to do so often. Instead, it's a boss fight that entirely relies on the environment, and I really appreciate that. That is something that Souls games have done before. So for example, the Dragon God was one of those, but with that I don't know, I maybe felt like the whole like strength of the actual Dragon God then kind of wasn't really all that well designed, because he of course always would kill you if he saw you and stuff like that. It was very hard to survive his attacks. With this one, you also are in a whole just world of pain and trouble once he then hits you, but I find it easier to anticipate what he's gonna do since he is just running around in circles. And no, we're not gonna join your covenant, excuse me, but I don't really appreciate your existence right now. I don't know, I shouldn't say that. I'm usually a big fan of these old red evil covenants, at least in Dark Souls 1. That is something I always like to do, and you know what, why the crap not? It's not like I'm really making use of the Pilgrims of the Dark anyway, now having killed the Dark Lurker like 2 episodes ago, so let's much rather just join his covenant. Just for shits and giggles. It's not like it really matters, as I was saying. But basically, to maybe kind of talk about him a little bit, he is your, what is it even? Your is it Dark Stalker? Weird. Kath, the one in the abyss in Dark Souls 1, the big snake. That is basically the function that he, right here, also serves. Like, it's not the same guy, that's not what I'm saying, but he also allows you to enter the dark or red covenant, doing all the evil PvP invasions and not just the fair blue ones or whatever that covenant is supposed to be around. So this is probably one of my favorite covenants in the game, I would say, just because it very much has the same function as it has in Dark Souls 1, and I really enjoyed it a lot in Dark Souls 1. I haven't really delved into too much PvP in this whole game, but in Dark Souls 1, very much covenant that I would recommend. Anyway, okay, so that is the Undead Purgatory. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about the boss, because I really like it, especially New Game Plus. It was a tough freaking challenge, as I've been saying for the past, I don't know, 10 minutes now. But yeah, now having gone here at the very, very end of this playthrough, maybe it was a little too easy. But then again, it's probably nice for a change, you know, isn't it? So, now the Undead Crypt and Vendrick. And now is basically the time where shit's gonna get exciting in this whole episode. Because, I mean, the Undead Purgatory, I've done it a bunch of times. I know my way around. It's not that, like, complex either. It's just a circular arena. But, still, I kind of know how to take care of that boss fight. Very much the opposite is the case with Vendrick, though. So, I'm a little scared, to be completely honest. Vendrick is a boss that I have not done yet. It's a boss that I don't have the trophy for yet. Also should very much stress that. So, right. So what does that mean? That means a whole bunch of things. I have no idea how all of this is going to now go. I might die a whole bunch. I have no idea how difficult he is going to be. All I know is that we are sure as heck going to go ahead and try it and give it my best to essentially then eventually, at the very least, get through it. But we took down the ancient dragon in that last episode and did a great job, I guess. Maybe is kind of dependent on your opinion, but we did a solid job with that whole fight, I find. So maybe, just maybe, it's going to be a possibility. Maybe this is going to be quite okay for me and for Potates, our protagonist right here. So I'm not exactly sure whether you need to fight these. I would very much imagine that you could also dodge, or not, yeah, I guess to some extent dodge him, but what I was trying to get at was running by all of these guys, because with the whole fight that you have to do here when you initially come here, so the whole Royal Egas, or however you pronounce that, I still don't know, and if somebody knows, please fill me in. But with that fight, I remember that if you then go to Vendrick after defeating that boss, they're just roaming around in his room and aren't necessarily aggroing all that much. So maybe it's not necessarily something that you have to do right here. And probably looking at my durability on the sword, it's maybe a good idea to not fuck with these guys too much. I'm gonna just run through and try to see how they're gonna behave now that I'm entering this room and approaching Vendrick. There's not a boss gate yet. That, I believe, is going to change, though, once I then trigger him and maybe try him again after dying, because that is totally a possibility here. But alright, Vendrick, how we're gonna tackle this, dude? I don't know if I can just poison you, Raz, to be honest. I might want to go ahead and try that, though, but I'm not exactly sure how he's then going to behave. Because it seems to me right now that it's a fairly easy fight to cheese, but I could be so wrong. And I don't want to eat my words necessarily. But yeah, once again, just to stress it real quick right here, I've never done this fight before. This is completely new territory for me right here. So let's find out how all of this is going to go. I'm just gonna fire some eventually fire some arrows at him. My aiming is not too good, but maybe, just maybe, we're gonna get to poison him? Oh, okay. That is so weird. Alright, we're just gonna go ahead and enter his fight now. I didn't know that would happen, but I guess it makes sense. Right, so lightning spear, is that something that we want to use? Oh my god, alright. Guy deals a lot of damage. Guy dealt a lot of damage. Let's try this again. Jesus. So he basically, with the one swing, took off my entire stamina. That certainly is good to know. I didn't like it, but it's good to know. So we can now maybe work with that a little bit. So what would one do against that? Against big swing, dealing a lot of damage? Well, my immediate thought right here is just trying to stay up close and trying to dodge roll his attacks. That might be a good strategy for him. Very much in contrast to the whole Ancient Dragon fight. I did not read up on this whatsoever. Of course, I did say with the Ancient Dragon, I just looked at some wiki pages and then looked at what he's weak against and stuff like that. Didn't do that with King Vendrick. I felt like just challenging him very, very much, you know, like a blind fashion. So, God, alright. That is then what we're doing now, I guess. Just, probably, if I were to take a guess, just another one of those death montages. So, running by is then what I'm going to roll with here. This might very much also lead to my death. I do want to stress that that is very much a possibility here. But maybe, just maybe, I'm going to be fine. And I kind of would imagine that I'm going to be fine, because they did lose aggro pretty soon with all of this. It's nice to find all my souls in front of the whole arena, though. Are you going to lose aggro? Very good. Okay. So that was shitty. Let's try it again, I guess. I did not repair my rings now, did I? That would be fantastic, wouldn't it? Maybe some steel protection? Probably a good idea. Is there anything else I can do? Are there any items that I can make use of? I don't really think so. The poison didn't seem to work on him. There are a few things I could throw at him, I guess, but other than that, like looking at defensive stats and stuff like that, doesn't look like I have anything. So, for the time being, let's just re-enter the boss fight and see what we can do now. Let's maybe see how much damage we can deal against him. So he immediately does crazy attacks, and that sucks. I'm doing okay damage though. I mean, it's still not very much looking at his like whole health bar, but what I like to see is the amount of damage and also how quickly it basically is yeah, just going down. It's not too bad, but he has a shit ton of health. That certainly needs to be stressed right here. Right. I'm not exactly sure what you want to do once he then depletes your stamina. I don't know if running away is such a good idea. And also, I have no freaking idea what that the fuck is. Cursed. Doesn't seem too nice now, does it? Alright, so you can also curse you. That is something we will see again before we finish the game. Not to spoil anything, but yeah. Cursing is something that we will see a little bit more of. Alright. So, avoiding his attacks is basically key. That is kind of what I'm getting from all of this. And probably also staying behind him is going to be a good idea. I don't know how easy that is going to be, but fair enough. Alright. That was maybe a little bit too close for my taste. Maybe gotta try to stay in front of him a little bit more, although that attack does have quite a range. I mean, range is maybe not the best way of describing that. Maybe rolling through that attack is going to be possible, though. I'm not exactly sure. Also, I mean, I'm not the best at rolling either, so this should be one hell of a time, Vendrick. King motherfucking Vendrick right here. Alright, pretty good combo there. It was only 2 hits, so maybe it's a bit of a stretch calling that a combo, but alright, it's going quite okay. If I get hit, though, I'm probably gonna die. That you certainly need to know. And oh, we took him down like halfway though, so that was not too shabby. I just gotta be a little bit more careful when it comes to all of that. Putting away my shield is not gonna be a good idea, I don't think. Just because I can block one attack, I can, and that is good to know. It does stagger me as well, though. At least, for the most part, it does that. Anyway, wait a second. Somebody spawned there. I don't really want him around while I'm using human effigies, because that's totally what I want to do right here. And then we might as well go ahead and pop a Radiant Life Gem. A little bit of a waste, admittedly, but I don't really care too much. One thing I didn't try was a Lightning Spear, or a Great Lightning Spear for that matter. And I don't know if I should, because that does of course take a little while to cast, and melee kind of seems to be the way to go with that fight, but alright, I don't know. We'll just see about it, I guess, with this whole next attempt that we're gonna end up doing right here. Alright, pretty stupid damage if you ask me, but the good thing is that this is a nice and easy way back to the boss fight, right? It's not this whole big frickin' ordeal that you have to go through every single time that you then challenge the ancient dragon, because you very much saw how that turned out. Instead, here it seems like it's a little bit more of a possibility, I guess, and that is very good to know. And also, once again, the stuff spawns outside. That is also very, very nice of them. Alright, S is up. Just do it that way, I guess, now. And try it again. Alright, I don't know how I'm gonna now handle the rest of this. I would imagine that at some point I'm just gonna go ahead and cut a little bit with all of this. But for the time being, I guess we can just do it in one continuous stream and try to just have a good time by not cutting and not necessarily resorting to the whole montage that I like to do. Or at least like to do for the Giant Lord and also the Ancient Dragon. So that, I don't know what the invincibility is there. Like how much of an angle I have when it comes to that attack. And like the zone that it doesn't hit. But that seems like it would hit, and it certainly did. And also rolling there seems to be quite risky. But fine. Is it really though? Is it fine? Ah, Jesus, that guy is stressful as all shit. That is a good attack, though. I like that attack. It allows me to heal now. Healing is probably going to be very important in this whole thing. Right, so that doesn't hit. Maybe I kind of want to stay to his back left, right? Because he has his sword in the right hand, and that might mean that he's not going to hit me once I'm here. I still want to try the lightning spear, though. I just don't know when the best chance for that is going to be. So maybe melee I want right now. Right, this seems to be the best zone of just staying safe, right? That is not the zone though. So now we are gonna have to dodge again, and also probably, oh, no need to Estes actually. I was completely wrong about that. I'm very happy that I dodged that one. That easily could have taken my life right then and there. Good dodge. That was not so good though, and that is going to hit like a motherfucker. Alright. So running, maybe rolling a little bit, maybe Estesing. Don't fucking do it, Vendrick. You dick. You massive, very much massive dick, by the way. He probably, no, I'm not gonna go into detail on that, I don't think. But alright, it's once again going quite okay, isn't it? I would very much like to heal up yet again though. Probably the best chance for that is going to be right now. And then he is going to whip out, oh, okay, you can't roll into that attack. Good to know, very good to know. S this up, only 4 left. And that is oh, it didn't kill me. I'm the happiest person alive right now. Hopefully we can stay alive and keep it that way. I got a little confused by my own statement for a second there. That is probably going to now, yeah, ended. God damn it, guys. I'm probably just gonna get, cut back to me re-entering the fight, and then we'll try it again. Alright, I'm back. Pretty easy the way here, actually, so that is not gonna be too big of an issue. But still, this whole fight is probably going to still be kind of an issue. The thing is, if he hits me, I'm in a lot of trouble. I really am. So let's try to solely focus on staying in the zone that is safest, or at least so far has proven to be the safest, right? Just very much his back left. And maybe that way we are then going to be able to wear him down eventually. Seems like the kind of fight where you once again have to just stay patient and just very slowly work on it. It doesn't seem like the kind of fight where you can very much like win by just going at it and trying to deal as much damage as quickly as possible. Seems to be that slow is the way to go. And that rhymed, and I'm once again very proud of myself for that, but maybe I'm gonna be even more proud once I kill this dude. That seems like a pretty good one to dodge though, but I do need to remember that you then have to dodge a second time. But alright, that is pretty pretty good right now, I would say. I do need to be a little bit more careful when it comes to my stamina. A full stamina bar is going to allow me to block his attack. So that is what I want to have once he then hits me, if he even hits me. And that was probably a weird way of actually pronouncing if, at least for me. It sounded a little off, but whatever. I don't really mind pronunciation too much right now. A second dodge, pretty good. Alright, I figured it out, I think. 2 dodges is what you want to do if it gets risky. For the most part, though, it's pretty safe if you just manage to stand right where I told you to stand. Alright, so what is this now? Like 4th attempt with this whole fight? The 4th time that I'm challenging King Vendrick himself. Oh my god, that was so close. He's gonna do another one. Pretty good 2-hit combo there. Just stay behind him. Oh, that is shitty. That is shit. Shit-y. Not gonna hit me. Pretty good. Alright. Now it's the time of the day where the most important rule is not getting cocky and also trying to avoid being cursed. I mean, if it happens, so be it. It's not too big of a deal. The much bigger problem is going to be getting behind him yet again. Alright, I managed to do it though. Stamina is low as all hell though. I kind of want to start two-handing it, but I'm so not very confident with that whatsoever, so just stick with the strategy, Nick. It's gonna be possible. Do not get cocky now. This is where 90% of the boss fights go wrong. The moment where you then realize that you're possibly going to rock it. And fucking hell I did. Okay, that is King Vendrick then. Pretty neat fight. It's not the craziest. Let's just maybe put it that way. It's not the most difficult, but a lot of fun to figure out how to do it, and that is me getting one of the last few trophies in the game. I think now the only stuff that I'm missing is very much, let me think, Lucatiel I'm certainly missing still. Probably gonna have to do that in a separate playthrough. And then also, of course, yeah, we still need to complete the map. That is probably something I will then do next time though, so for the time being, let us just use the Aged Feather and actually go back to the Bonfire Last Rested At. Also go back to Majula, I would imagine, and then already call it a day. Yeah, pretty quick episode, maybe only when compared to the last one though, I guess, with the whole Ancient Dragon fight and stuff like that. Or also the one before that, that was even longer. The last one maybe wasn't even all that long. Maybe I'm just remembering that incorrectly. But alright, guys, that was Vendrick. That was me taking him down in his hiding spot down here in the Undead Crypt. The Monarch is now dead, and what that means is that we are very much gonna replace him as soon as we then get involved with the next episode. Because of course, we're not done yet. We're not done by killing Vendrick. That is not the end of a game. You have to go back to the Throne of Want now, having retrieved the Giant's Kinship, I believe, is what you get by killing the Giant Lord. That happened so long ago, though, so I already forgot the specifics there, but that is, of course, what we retrieved from the Giant Memories, and that is what we are then going to make use of in the next episode, and that is then final boss time and all that kind of stuff. Probably a few more trophies are going to be retrieved as well, so it's all pretty exciting. It's all pretty sad, though. The main story, I guess, in that sense, is going to be completed in the next episode. But also do keep in mind, I did say that the DLC that is coming out pretty soon, at the end of July, is I think when the first part of that whole trilogy is going to hit. All of that stuff will also be covered on the channel. I'm not exactly sure how I'm gonna like yeah, maybe just design the series surrounding that, if it's just going to be a continuation of this one or whether it's going to be its own like little separate thing. we'll have to see, but hopefully everybody's excited for that. Hopefully everybody's also very much excited about the next episode, and probably then also last episode, at least for quite a while. Hopefully also everybody enjoyed this one, took down the 2 last optional bosses of the game, Vendrick giving us a trophy, and of course keep in mind we did that using all the giant souls that we picked up in the memories, and also by killing the ancient dragon. And then also we took down, of course, the Executioner's Chariot, one of my favorite boss fights in the game. While it wasn't really all that difficult with this whole build, I still very much want to stress that that is one of my favorites of the game, and rightfully so. It's a really neat design in my opinion, because it's not your standard dude, instead very much environmentally like focused. Is that a good way of putting it? I don't know. What I should do though is end the episode. So guys, thank you so much. Make sure to tune in for the next episode, because that is then our return to the Throne of Want and all that whole thing contains. So guys, goodbye and have a good one. Catch you later.